as some of you may know, there is a war going on in Ukraine. So I pulled up LiveMap because it shows a relatively decent view of how the war is going, and you may notice there's a lot of red right here. There's a lot of red right here. That's because there's a war going on, surprisingly enough, and it's because Russia, this fuck, decided to invade these people, Ukraine. Now, if I'm not mistaken, can we do the timeline here? How do we do the timeline? Time. Here we go. We can go to 2022. All right, and we can go to like March when it first started, right? Was it March? Let's just do June, because I know what happened then, right? Definitely happened in June. So you notice, like, this is back in June of 2022. There's a lot of Ukraine that has been, like, taken over by Russia, right? We can go a little bit further back in time here. Let's do April. We can do April, right? It'll load eventually, I hope. There we go. See, there's a bunch of stuff. It's all over the place. Russia is fucking the whole shit up, as is professionally noted. This is the bad times, right? But now, let's go ahead. Just go back to today. That is a lot better for Ukraine. This lack of icons means that there isn't much going on over here, which is good. And you will notice that a lot of Ukraine has been taken back. In case you are unfamiliar with what Ukraine looks like on a global map, it's this. Can I set this to terrain, traffic? We'll just do terrain, whatever. Yeah, that's a little easier. Okay, so Ukraine kind of goes like this, right? And it kind of ends over here where this little inlet is, right? And then there's Crimea down here, which is also part of Ukraine. And here, oh look, it goes. The battlefront is moved. It's not back here, kind of where it used to be, right? This huge big chunk hasn't been taken out. And in fact, up here in the north, the Ukrainians are holding their border again, which is spectacular. They've pushed the Russians back to their own border and are holding it, it looks like. Now, I believe the blue is recently retaken and red is occupied. So you can see here there's some recently retaken land, mostly going along the highways because that's where the logistics goes. And then you've got down here where there is still a lot of land to take. Of course, but this is in red. Why is this in red? I don't honestly know why this is in red. Okay, that's fine. Is this because this is like super bad times? What's going on over here? Russian shelling. So all of these are Russian shelling, which is what the Russians do. They throw explosive ammunition this direction, trying to kill enough civilians to make people sad. Sirens, yep, that's probably due to the fucking immediate shelling that took place, yep. But all in all, it looks like the war in Ukraine is going well for the Ukrainians. In fact, recently, as in the last week ago, Biden has announced that he's going to be sending Abrams tanks over to Ukraine, which is cool. Glad we're finally sending tanks over. If only our tanks weren't powered by jet fuel and the most finicky things on the planet, but they shoot far and hit hard, which is important. In addition, Ukraine tanks from NATO. We're getting main battle tanks across the line. We've got Leopard 2, Challenger 2, and M1s all going to Ukraine. as of last week. United States, Britain, and Germany have agreed to supply Ukraine, my apologies, slip of the tongue, with main battle tanks to aid to its resistance to Russia's invasion, which is important because Ukraine has been asking for tanks for a pretty long time. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Oh, well, there was a... Okay, I can't find it right off the bat, so I'm not going to do it. Anyways, the point is, Ukraine is getting continued aid from Western nations, which is important, and NATO nations, which is important, because we need to defend. Russia's the aggressor. Ukraine's the defender. Ukraine is democratic, primarily. Russia is very much not. Push Russia back. We don't allow authoritarians in this world. That's all I've got to say about that.